if you need in any time, I can just turn on. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Yep.
First,
For everyone that's just joining, we'll be getting started in about 3 minutes, so for everyone that just came, we'll be waiting about 1 more minute and then we'll be getting started. Hi everyone, and welcome to our 5th Beat Live hosted by the Michigan Youth Empowerment Foundation, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to promoting STEAM education and supporting K-12 students so that they can thrive in the new technological world. As the certified MakeX organizer for the Michigan region, MYE is excited to introduce today's event, the MakeX Spark Competition Michigan Kickoff. My name is Angela Shu, and I am a member of Michigan Youth Empowerment's Youth Leadership Committee, and I am also the Michigan team lead for the MakeX Spark competition. Now, before we get started, I would love to introduce a few people that are here with us today. First, I want to introduce Grace Kai. She is the founder and executive director of MYE and the key organizer for MakeX Spark. Harrison Lavins is the robotics and programming instructor at NYE and the head coach for the MakeX Spark Michigan team. Next, we are excited to introduce a special guest, Sophie Zhou, who is the operations manager at MakeX. Finally, I would like to thank our media partner, Dragon Eagle TV. They are live streaming this event on their YouTube channel, so I'd like to welcome everyone who's watching from there as well. Now, if you have any questions throughout this event, feel free to leave them in the Q&A box, which you can find at the bottom of the screen. So with that, let's just get started. So here is a brief overview of what we'll be covering in today's kickoff event. First, we'll be introducing the competition. Then Harrison will be talking about the hardware and software, as well as introducing a few of our project examples. Next, we will be talking about NYE's programs such as mentorship and courses. And finally, we will be doing a Q&A session. So once again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the Q&A box. So now I'd like to introduce a video that basically introduces MakeX as an organization.
MakeX is an international robotics competition platform that promotes multidisciplinary learning within the fields of science and technology. Its core activity, the namesake MakeX robotics competition, originating from China, is an international robotics competition brand focusing on STEAM education, which is exclusively and fully sponsored by MakeBlock, a world's leading STEAM education solution provider. Since its launch in May 2017, MakeX Robotics Competition has held more than 150 professional competitions in over 60 different countries, gathered more than 45,000 contestants around the world, and got 10 million audiences watching online, building itself into a global leader in the field of robotics competition. MakeX Robotics Competition builds an alliance system that inspire contestants to grow through innovation and collaboration and fully appreciate the core spirits of MakeX: creativity, teamwork, fun, and sharing.
Awesome. So after that brief overview of MakeX as an organization, let's talk about MakeX Spark. So MakeX Spark is one of the many robotics competitions that MakeX hosts. MakeX Spark is a creative design competition program that allows students ages 6 through 13 to engage in product design based on the following criteria. First, we have electronic technology, programming, design, innovative thinking, and finally, communication skills. Participants in this competition will create a project based on the competition theme and make use of programming, hardware, construction, and poster display. So basically, students will be using coding skills as well as innovation to create a project that aims to solve real-world issues. So what can students get out of participating in MakeX Spark? First, you'll get the opportunity to have hands-on practice in STEAM education. Not only is MakeX solely a robotics competition, you will also learn important lifelong skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, as well as improving public speaking. And through working on these projects together, this is also a valuable bonding time for families. By working together, families will be able to come up with amazing and creative ideas. Finally, MakeX Spark is an engaging platform for students to continue learning and from the safety from their homes. So this is NYE's official MakeX Spark website. And at the end of today's presentation, I will do a brief walkthrough of this website. But for now, let's get on with the rest of the presentation. So this is the competition schedule for MakeX Spark. Highlighted in blue, we have the project submission dates. So students can start submitting their projects on September 17th, and the deadline for project submissions is October 12th. Next, we have the participation requirements. So MakeX Spark is for all students ages 6 to 13, and this age is dependent on their age as of January 1st, 2020. And students will be competing in 2 different age groups. So for students ages 6 through 9, we have the elementary age division, and for students ages 10 to 13, we have the intermediate age division. So these 2 age divisions will be judged and competing separately. Finally, and most importantly, contestants will be competing as individuals, so this is not a team competition. Now, the theme of this competition is super important because all projects must be related to it. So this year's theme called Smart Lighting. Lights are essential to basically human life. Natural sunlight provides the energy and warmth that most living things cannot live without. With the development of electricity and power systems, the artificial light sources bring much more convenience in our lives. Nowadays, we need lights everywhere. So down here at the bottom, we have a few examples of how we use light today. So on the far left, we see lights being on a dress. So this is an example of how we use lights for entertainment. Lights are also to help us see at night. So you can see in the middle, we have a picture of lights being used at night. And on the far right, we have a picture of lights being used in streets, such as in streetlights, as well as on the back of cars through headlights. However, overusing lights can also cause problems. One example of this is light pollution, which can negatively affect our health, environments, and even ecosystems. So in the next slide, we'll be discussing what solutions we have for these negative impacts. So your project must be dedicated to solving issues like the ones we just discussed. So there are several focuses that you can choose to do. First, you can design a project that focuses on saving energy. So maybe your product is trying to answer the question of how to manage the light sources smartly in various usage scenarios. Or maybe you want a project that improves someone's life quality. So maybe you want to make life more entertaining. So you can think of projects that use colorful lights used for entertainment and celebration. Or you can think of a project that is focused on creating something for daily communication or even in extreme situations, such as SOS lights. And finally, maybe you want to provide brightness for places that don't have light yet. So ask yourself, is there still any place that needs light for brightness on Earth? Now, a third key idea that you can choose to focus your project on is reducing light pollution. So how can your project idea help to reduce light pollution and bring awareness to light pollution? So take a second and think about what other projects you can think of that are related to smart lights. So here we just have a few pictures for inspiration. On the far left, I have lights being used to help grow plants. In the middle, I have another example of lights being used to see at night. This is a flashlight. And on the far right, we have lights being used in traffic signals. So this helps our safety. So when you're thinking of your own ideas, a few keywords that you can keep in mind are things being eco-friendly and energy saving. Next, I'm going to briefly go over the equipment. So the only requirement needed to participate in MakeX Spark is having MBlock 5. So this is the software that students will be using to program off of, and this, once again, is the only requirement. Hardware-wise, there are a lot of options. You're basically allowed to use anything you want as long as it's compatible with MBlock 5. So by compatible, I just mean you can use MBlock 5 to program it. So a few of our options include Halo Code. So the main product that we're recommending is Halo Code because it's super affordable at only $40, and it comes with a variety of sensors and modules such as LED lights and touch sensors. So if you do sign up for MYE's lessons, which I will be introducing later, we will also be offering a lot of courses on how to use Halo Code, so don't worry if this is something that you've never used before. Now, we also have an add-on pack, which does cost a little bit extra, but it also has a lot of cool extensions and other sensors that you can use. However, once again, this is optional and not required. And finally, if students already have MBot at home, this is also a great option to use. It comes with about the same number of sensors and modules that Halo Code does. However, once again, MYE's courses will be focusing on Halo Code because we believe that even with using this small module, there's a lot of fun examples for code that you can use. So we'll be sharing a bunch of cool projects later on in this presentation. So this is the competition procedure, basically how you're going to prepare for MakeX Spark. We have divided the competition into 5 stages. First is topic research, then project design. Third is project construction. Next is poster design. And finally is online submissions. So now we'll be going a bit more in depth about each step. So stage 1 is going to be basically just researching your topic. So smart lights is still a pretty broad topic. So your first step should be to narrow down your topic so it's something more specific. So a great way to do this is to think about how you use artificial lights in your daily life. So maybe a lamp or a phone screen, and think about what are some of the problems that you run into that involve these lights. Maybe if you don't want to do that, you can also ask yourself, what are some current issues in the world that are related to light? So that's things like saving energy and sustainable energy and things like that. Finally, you can also ask yourself, how can smart lights solve some current issues in the world? So once again, like we talked about earlier, a couple slides earlier, we shared with you guys like a few topics you can research, such as saving energy and reducing light pollution. So those are also some great ways to start your research. So next, collecting information is a fancy way of saying just learning more stuff online. So some things that you can research are the history of your issue. You can also learn more about current companies or organizations that are related to your issue. You can also research current solutions. And while you're researching the solutions, think about what's good about them and what some things that you can do better. And maybe you can do that with your project. And you can also research current products or prototypes that are already being made. And you can use those as inspiration for your own. So recording your process will be super important throughout all stages of the competition. And by record, we just mean taking notes and documenting your thought process. So what I suggest doing is designating either a notebook or a binder only to MakeX Spark. And in this binder, you will write basically all of your thoughts and ideas. So during stage 1, you can use it to write down important ideas or important notes that you find during your research. The next step will be project design. So first, we have to gather your materials. Software-wise, once again, we have MBlock. This is a completely free download. Next, you will be gathering your hardware. So whether that is Halo code or MBOT or anything else. And finally, you want to gather your supplies for the exterior. So that will include things like cardboard, markers, Velcro. If you want to get fancy, even a 3D printer would work. So anything like that. And once you have all of this equipment prepared, you can move on to generating possible solutions. So after you've done a bit of research, you probably have a bit more of an idea of what sorts of problems you want to solve and some possible solutions. So remember to keep on asking yourself, what is the problem I'm trying to solve, just to make sure that you're staying on track? And how can I use this project to make somebody's life easier or something like that? And make sure that these project solutions are staying on theme. So they must be about smart lights. So once you have a few possible solutions, you can start making the list of materials required for each solution. So this will include lists of what sensors you'll need, as well as what supplies you'll need to build it. Next, you can draw your exterior design. So this is when a notebook would be super helpful because you can have a bunch of sketches on your notebook saved that you can reference later on in the competition procedure. And finally, this is also a great time to start writing your pseudocode. So pseudocode is just a fancy way of saying what your program will do. Stage 3 will be project construction. So once you have finalized your project idea and you also have the list of materials that you need, you can start to make your project. So first will be programming your project using MBlock 5. Next, you want to design your hardware components. So after that, once you have both the software and hardware done, you can start to test your code on Halo code. This is a great time to start doing test runs and testing a bunch of trials. So after each trial, you can take notes and start making changes. And once you're satisfied with how your project looks and how your code functions, you can start to do the exterior design of the project. And throughout the entire project construction phase, make sure that you're recording the entire thing. So writing out the steps that it takes to construct the project, as well as all the materials that you'll need. You should also be writing down your program logic. So that's basically what your code does. You can also write down the steps it took to design the exterior of your project. And finally, you can also take notes on obstacles you encountered during construction, as well as how you overcame them and came up with solutions. Stage 4 will be poster design. So the poster must be hand-drawn by the participant. So while you're brainstorming ideas, you can start to collect supplies. So this will just be your paper, your markers, pencils, erasers, basic things like that. And some things that you can put on your poster will be your project title, your own name, the functions of the Halo code or whatever hardware that you're using, what inspired your project, so basically how it relates to the theme. You can also draw a diagram of your prototype, as well as what things that your prototype achieves. So on the right side of my screen, we have an example for what things to put on your poster. Make sure that you don't copy this poster exactly, because unlike this example, you will have to hand draw and hand paint yours. However, this is a great reference to see how you can organize it. So you can see that this student put the title of their project, Smart Robot, as well as their name. On the left side of the poster, you can see the features, the main features of their project. And on the top, you can see their creative process. You can see a drawing of their robot, as well as the program logic. So once you're done with both your poster as well as your prototype, you can start to evaluate your project. So you can ask yourself things like, what things did I do well on? What are some things that I can improve on? And does my project actually represent the theme? So based on your answer to these questions, you can make changes if necessary. And if not, then you're ready to submit your project. So final stage is going to be online submission. Before you actually submit it, you have to finish all of the components of the submission package. So apart from your actual prototype and the poster, you will also have to take a few photos of your project, as well as photos of your poster. And you will also have to film a video where you introduce yourself and demonstrate your project. Another component of the submission package is a written portion. So you will be writing an introduction. In your introduction, you'll basically describe the functions of your project, how you came up with the idea and how it relates to the theme. And for instructions, you can sort of think of it as an instruction manual that you get from something that you buy at the store. So think that hypothetically, like if your project were to be in stores, if it were to be sold, what are some steps that you would need to put in the manual so that the person buying it would know how to use your product? So once you have completed all of these steps for the submission package, it's time to submit your project online. So this will be super easy. You just create an account on MakeX and you will submit it on MakeX's website. Now let's go over the criteria for how you'll be judged for your projects. MakeX Spark judges the students' projects in 5 criteria. First, we have electronic technology. This is basically the hardware stuff. So using a variety of sensors and not just one. For example, you want to use, if you're using a Halo code, you want to use the touch sensor, the microphone, the button, so a variety of things. And you also want all of the hardware functions to run smoothly and accurately. Next, we have programming ability. This is just getting a concise code that runs smoothly, and it should also show your understanding of how programming works. Next is design ability. So this is like the visual aspects of your project. So how does your program look visually? This might seem a bit confusing now, but once we show you a few project examples, design ability will make a lot more sense. Innovative thinking is just how creative your solution is and how unique your project is. And that's also how well related your project is to the theme. And finally, communication skill is mainly about your video submission. So in your demonstration video, do you speak fluently? Do you have a rich vocabulary? Are you maintaining eye contact, clear pronunciation? And how well do you demonstrate your project? So things like that. Now this is just a different version of what we just went through. So this basically shows that how you'll be graded. So in each dimension, you will be graded a score from 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. And you can also see how in things like design ability, innovative thinking, and communication skill, there are also sub-dimensions in what you'll be graded in. So now let's talk about a few awards that you can get by participating in MakeX Spark. So we have 4 special awards that are based off of the 5 criteria. And the reason that there's only 4 instead of 5 is because the Young Engineer Award is actually a combination of the electronic technology criteria with the programming one. So that's where we get our 4 awards, which are Young Engineer, Young Designer, Best Creativity, and Best Demonstration. So how you get these awards is based off of your score in the 5 criteria. However, it's based on the individual scores. So how will you do in, let's say, the innovative thinking category will not affect getting how you do in the Young Engineer Award. So apart from the 4 special awards, there is also a top award that you can get. This is only given to the top 5 highest scores, and these people score super high in all 5 criteria. Now, students who get an award, either the special award or the top award, will have the opportunity to apply for the World Robot Contest, and Young All-Rounder Award winners also qualify for the MakeX World Championships. Another thing that the Young All-Rounder will get is called the CyberPi, which is this super cool prototype that MakeBlocks has just created. CyberPi actually is not released in the US yet, so winners of the Young All-Rounder Award will actually be the first to test this out in the US. And this is a super cool prototype that you can program lots of games on. It has a bunch of cool functions. So we already briefly went over this, but this is just a list of things that you need to submit with your project. So both your name as well as your projects. The 2 written portions, so the introduction and instruction. Source code is just a copy of your MBlock program. You will submit a video of introducing yourself as well as your project. And finally, pictures will be of your project as well as the poster. Oh, and also the language that you're submitting everything in is English. So I know I just went over a lot of information with the steps for the competition, with the criteria and awards. So it's okay if you're feeling like a bit overwhelmed. However, MIE has prepared a lot of resources to help you along the way. We have a lot of mentors who will be guiding you through all 5 stages of the competition, and they'll give you tips on how to score highest in each criteria. And apart from our mentors, we also have a lot of other resources for participants. So stay tuned till the very end. But first, I'd like to invite Harrison, who is our head coach for the Michigan team, and he will be introducing the hardware and software.
Wonderful, Angela. Thank you so much. And thank you for going over all of the competition details. I hope everyone watching is very excited. And I hope that I'm very excited to present the hardware and software aspects of what we're going to be talking about. So I hope that this will be even more exciting. And let's take a look at the main hardware component that we're going to be discussing today. So as Angela mentioned, there is no hardware specific requirement. So students and participants should feel free to use whatever they'd like and whatever they have access to. But we highly recommend the Halo code. And so what the Halo code is a Halo code is a powerful single board computer with built-in Wi-Fi and versatile electronic modules. So you can see pictured on the right-hand side, it's a very small form factor. But within that small bundle, there are a lot of different things you can see. We'll talk about it in just a moment, but we can see LED lights, various buttons, touch sensors, all sorts of things all in one bundle, and a very affordable price point as well. And we find this to be a wonderful introduction. For many students, it's very beginner friendly. So it's specifically designed actually for STEM education. And very easy to get started, but also for the more advancing students, they will find that it allows them a great deal of power, and we'll look at some examples and talk about that in a moment, and I'm sure you'll see that. Wireless connectivity enables the Halo code via Wi-Fi to connect to the internet, and gives us a whole suite of AI supported functionalities along with that. and also to enable the IoT or Internet of Things functionalities. So for those of you who maybe are not familiar, think of smart home devices such as smart home assistants or various sensors that we rely on in our everyday life. All of this is possible with Halo Code and more, and we really recommend this because it is a complete package and really gives us all sorts of different possibilities that are only limited by students' imaginations. So on this picture here, you can see this is the front of the Halo Code. It has the majority of the modules available to us. So you can see 12 programmable RGB LEDs. What that means is just these LEDs allow us the capability to create any color of the rainbow. The touch sensors, you can see pictured, those are the gold on the outer ring of the Halo Code, allow us to use touch input to control our Halo Code and our projects and in any way that we wish. A microphone, you can see pictured there, can allow for any of the functionality that is required or used with a microphone. So along with this is an AI capability of actually speech detection. And so this is all possible with Halo Code combined with MBlock, which is the software we'll look at in a moment, used to program it. You can see a button in the sensor or in the center of the Halo Code. Motion sensors allow us to tell direction, motion, movement, Wi-Fi connectivity we mentioned, and also a timer. And the Halo Code is convenient. It is not only able to be placed in various locations, but is actually also small enough to fit. It's about the size of a wristwatch. So students can also feel free to incorporate a wearable design and into their projects that can actually be transported with them. And so we've touched on it briefly. Let's go over the software component. This is the only requirement of the competition. Halo Code is the recommendation, but the MBlock software is actually completely free, and this is the entire suite of tools available to students as part of this competition to allow them to integrate with the Halo Code, program it. And we see here on the left-hand side, Scratch 3.0 is supported. So this is for those maybe unfamiliar, this is a block-based programming language, which many students might already be familiar with. And it's MBlock allows us to very easily transition. If any students have any experience with Scratch, they will find it a completely seamless, introduction into MBlock or transition. But also for the advancing student, Python is supported as a text-based programming language. So students, another thing that is interesting to note, Angela went over the technical criteria that the judges will evaluate students on, and students can feel free to use either programming language of their choice, and if they are able to better express their ideas in one programming language, they can also get high marks or high scores for either. But if they want to extend the possibilities or create more advanced projects, Python is also supported. So this is a great tool and free to download and use. Another thing too, we mentioned before, the AI and IoT capability of the Halo Code combined together, all supported by this MBlock 5 platform. And you can see on the right-hand side, you see a little bit of a view of it. But for those of you maybe who have already had exposure to MBlock or Scratch, you will recognize this, but do not worry if you have not, because our next training next week, or our first training, will actually feature an overview of MBlock and a beginning look at Halo code and some of the possibilities. But let's actually take a look at some of those possibilities right now, and I think this will help to inspire and really excite all of you. So one of the first projects that we have found students who have come up with their own ideas have put forth is this LED merry-go-round. So conceptually and technically, the project is actually quite simple. You can see on the right-hand side, this is not the full, the full code of this project, but this really is the core, functionality of this program. So you can see it's relatively simple. And on the left-hand side, we really want to, emphasize that the MakeX competition is really a complete display of all of the capabilities of the students. So you can see we have a horse that has been hand-drawn by the student. The Halo code is actually providing, you can see the ring of lights is actually giving us the light up capability. And so really conceptually, it's very simple, but points are added due to the high creativity of the student. And so this is a really great example just to show how important the complete package really is, and showcasing the full extent of what the student can do. On this next project, you will also see creativity points at play. So this is a light up sunflower that this student submitted. The right-hand side is not the complete code. Again, this is only a portion of the code. But you can see here when these touch pads that we saw on the Halo code are touched, they're actually connected through a wire. I'm not sure if you can see that in the screen, but there is a wire behind this, this beautiful sunflower and the leaves that the student created. And this is actually connected to the Halo code at the center, providing for this light up capability. And so again, we see a combination of very creative aspects, but also some relatively inexpensive materials that can be found at home. And so this is the wonderful thing about using Halo code for this competition is it really allows the student to utilize different things that they can find at home and really create with their own hands to really display their creativity and bring their ideas to life. Another very exciting IoT project that is very exciting and very possible for students to be able to put together is a smart home project. So many of us will be familiar with smart lights or smart home assistants in our everyday life. And what this student has done, if you can see on the left-hand side, is actually construct from cardboard and paper at home their own smart home. And so you can see installed within this living room at the very top on the ceiling is the Halo code. It fits right at home. And what you can't see in this project are any wires or any connection to an internet connection because, as we said before, the Halo code supports Wi-Fi connections. And so this allows students, you can actually, through MBlock, create your own virtual dashboard to actually wirelessly control your smart home and program it in different ways to light up however the students see fit. So again, another innovative use of materials that can be found at home and are not very expensive, but to really create a very unique project and something that many people will find useful in their everyday lives. This is just one more example to show if a student wants to go above and beyond, it is not at all necessary. We've seen a lot of great project ideas so far without added hardware components, but we see the light up capability of the Halo code through this tail waving kitten, and also the waving tail with completed using a servo motor to add the extra motion. But you can see from this project, there is also the possibility for students to create something like this from their own materials at home. So this project likely being done with some sort of a laser cutter, and that is all welcomed and definitely is allows for certain projects. But again, we hope to emphasize in this webinar that really the students should only be limited by their imagination, and there are plenty of projects that we have seen that do not require expensive tools to create. And then just one more slide, just to emphasize one other point, which is that students should feel that or imagine themselves as if they are, you can think of, starting your own company, or imagining that this is your own product that you're going to put out in the world, and you're creating your own prototype. And so something important, although it does not have to be expensive, on the left-hand side, you can see a complete product that the student has put together using just materials that can be found at home: cardboard, paper, different colors, markers. And we want to emphasize that in addition to the technical side of things, programming the Halo code and coming up with innovative ideas, another important aspect of this competition is really showcasing the student creativity. And so we really want to, show the different possibilities and encourage the students to think from a designer, product designer perspective, really encourage the entrepreneurship of the student in approaching these real world problems. So you can see on the right-hand side, this would be a 3D printed enclosure for the lights in the Halo code. And so something that is definitely possible, but not required. So you can see two different directions that students could take, but both focused really on that product design standpoint. And so I think that is the end of the sample projects we have. I'd just like to ask Angela if there's anything else she would like to add regarding hardware or software.
Nope, I think you got everything. I think you covered everything pretty well.
Wonderful. So I'll turn it back over to you, Angela. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you so much for that introduction about the hardware and the software. Now I'd like to talk a bit more about the resources that MYE will provide. So MYE aims to promote youth involvement in STEAM. So to help our students succeed in this competition, we have prepared an extensive list of free resources for them. So first, we have the mentorship program. We have a team of 12 mentors, all of whom are here with us today in our kickoff event. So out of the 12, 9 of them are technical mentors with extensive experience in programming, robotics, and teaching. Each participant will be assigned to one technical mentor, and these mentors will help the students by meeting with them at least once a week. They will be communicating with them through virtual meetings as well as emails. Mentors will also share with their students a bunch of resources such as project examples, competition rule guides. They will also be helping students troubleshoot. So by troubleshoot, that just means helping students with their coding as well as hardware construction. And finally, mentors will be giving feedback on their project ideas as well as programs and things like that. And they'll also share their own previous competition advice as well as give their own robotics experience. So apart from our 9 technical mentors, we also have 3 design mentors. And these mentors will be focusing on the guidance regarding the post design. So poster design is another super important component of the MakeX Spark because your poster basically summarizes your entire creative process. So these 3 design mentors will be giving the students advice on organization, what to include on the posters, and how to make your posters stand out. So apart from this mentorship program, MYE will also be offering a bunch of free courses. So these are taught by our team of MYE certified instructors. So the first one, which is happening next week, is called Getting Started with Halo Code and MBlock. This is taught by our team of technical mentors. Next, we have the poster design workshop. That is the week after that. And this will be taught by our 3 design mentors. Third, we have our speech and presentation skills workshop. This is mainly in preparation for your video portion of your submission. This workshop will be taught by MYE's public speaking instructor, Mrs. K, and she has taught several courses at MYE, and she's also the head coach of debate at Detroit Country Day. Our last seminar will be happening on Saturday, September 5th, and this is a video editing and photography workshop taught by Coach Steven, who is also an MYE certified instructor. So in all, you will be getting 6 hours of free lessons because each course is 1.5 hours long. And unlike today's kickoff event, these will actually be invite only, so they're not open to the general public. You will only be getting an invitation sent to you once you have signed up for MYE's resources and been paired with a mentor. So the reason that we do invite only is just so that we have a smaller group of students so that each of the instructors can focus on the students individually so that they will get a lot more attention. And these courses will also be a lot more interactive than today's kickoff event. So these courses will not only teach you skills for you to prepare for the MakeX Spark, these are also super important skills that you'll need for any career that you pursue in the future. So things like designing a poster, presentation skills, as well as video editing. And once again, all of these courses are taught by MYE certified instructors who have lots of experience in teaching because they have taught several courses at MYE already. So MYE is also offering financial assistance. So MYE has provided 20 free Halo Code kits to families in need of financial assistance. If this applies to you, you can go ahead and fill out a box in our registration form, which can be found on our official MakeX website. Once again, I will be going over the MakeX website later on in this presentation. And finally, by signing up with MYE, participants will get a shared resources folder. So this is a constantly updated Google Drive folder with a bunch of resources, such as like updated competition rules, project examples, as well as inspiration. They will be getting tips and advice from mentors and instructors, as well as super cool practice projects, just so students can have some extra practice with coding. So now let's do a quick run through of MYE's main website. So you can find it on myefound.org/MakeX, or you can just type in myefound.org and click MakeX over here. So now I am on MYE's official website. Let's just do a quick walkthrough of it. You can see over here that the project submission dates are September 17th through October 12th. Down here, you have a quick overview of the competition, as well as a link to MakeX's official website. Now, the thing I want you to notice here is the signups. So in red is the sign up for the kickoff meeting, which was today. And down here is where you'll sign up for competition support. So by signing up through this blue link, you will be added to the mentorship program. You will get access to our 4 courses, and you will also have access to you'll also have access to our team's shared Google Drive and things like that. However, I do want to specify that this is not the registration for the actual competition. This is only for MYE's programs. You will also have to make an account later on MakeX's website to submit your project. So going down, we have submission cost is all free. Here you see the theme. Here you see our list of technical mentors, as well as design mentors. And down here are our directors of operations. Now, this is the event schedule for all of the courses that MYE will be offering students. So these dates are super important. Our next one will actually be a week from now. So in order to be invited to this, I would recommend you sign up as early as possible because we will start pairing mentors with mentees this weekend. So if you do want to attend these free courses, once again, sign up with the blue link on our website. So I'll give you guys a few seconds just to screenshot this just so you have the event schedule. Okay, so after you have your event schedule saved, last part of this website is just the requirements. So here you can download the software, and there is also an Amazon link for purchasing the Halo code. So this is just a brief rundown of MYE's website. Once again, to sign up for things like the mentorship program, free courses, financial aid, in the shared Google Drive folder, you will be clicking this blue button right here. Now going back to our main presentation, why should your student participate in MakeX? So unlike other robotics competitions, this is not just a contest that focuses on programming and building. You also have to design your own product. So in a way, this is also an innovation and creativity contest. Now, there are also a variety of ways that students can get recognized for their effort and all of the hard work that they have put in, because students can win in 4 different categories. So there are several ways that you can have an award. So for example, maybe you're not that strong of a programmer, but you're super good at doing like visual design and making your program like look really clean and neat. So the judges will recognize that, and you will get recognized through maybe like a design award or something like that. So with that being said, MakeX Spark has a super high award rate because there are so many categories and ways that you can be recognized for all of your hard work. Compared to other robotics competitions, MakeX Spark is also super affordable. So MakeX registration is completely free, and the Halo code is only $40, not to mention we do also offer financial assistance, and all of MYE's courses in preparation for MakeX Spark are also free. So the MBlock software that we use is also a super easy and fun platform to learn. So lots of kids use this not only for MakeX Spark, but you can also program a lot of fun video games on it. And this is also a great way to transition into other programming languages. Now, before we go into the Q&A session for today, once again, Sophie is from MakeX. She's Director of Operations. Is there anything else you want to add? If not, I guess we can just go into the Q&A session. So once again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A box. And Harrison and I, as well as Sophie, will be looking out for them and answering your questions. Awesome. So, okay. Our first question is, can we print out our code and put it on the poster, or do we have to hand draw that too? So when we talk about like your poster, by program logic, we don't actually want like your actual copy of your code on your poster. Instead, yeah, just writing out like a simple step-by-step or like a diagram of how your code works will be just fine. So no, you don't have to put your entire code on the poster. You can hand draw the steps for that. Okay, next question. Is this project going to be hard? It will be super hard if you're only doing this by yourself. However, you will get a lot of support from MYE through the mentors as well as instructors, and you will also have your parents there to help you along the way. So I think with all of the support that you're getting and all of the resources that MYE offers, it will be a super fun experience. Like while it will be pretty challenging, because you are creating your own product, this will be super fun and it will allow you to grow in so many different ways.
Can I just add to that as well, Angela, that the project actually can be as hard or as simple as you want it to be. So really, the initial project idea comes from you, the student, or the participant, and really there is no limit to your imagination. So we saw some projects in the examples that were not everything that could be created, but we saw some very simple ones and also some more complicated ones. And there are, of course, more projects at any end of that complete spectrum. So really, it's as hard or as simple as you'd like it to be.
Awesome. So we got another question asking, what are the 4 categories? So there are actually 5 criteria that you will be judged on. So that is your hardware, so that's electronic technology. There's also programming ability. We have design, innovation, and criteria. So those are the 5 criteria. But however, there are 4 awards that you can get. One is the engineer award, one is the design award, one's the innovation award, and one's the creativity award. I might be wrong on one of them, so I will be back and check with you, but I know for a fact that those are the 5 criteria that you will be judged on. Okay. Okay. So we also got a few questions about partner work. So this is an individual competition, so you won't be able to work together with another student and submit a project together. However, if you do want to work together to brainstorm ideas, that is allowed. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, overall, this is an individual event, so it would be best that you don't just give each other answers to the projects. Okay, so somebody is wondering, do we have a winning project sample of last year? So this is actually the first year that MakeX Spark is doing their competition online. So if you do want some examples of projects that won through in-person competitions, we can provide that. Once again, all of those things will be shared through our Google Drive. So go ahead and sign up and we will have all of those resources in there. However, we don't actually have a winning sample of MakeX Spark online contest because it's the first year that this is online. Okay.
I noticed students have some questions in the Q&A section, and David is patiently waiting for the answer. Thank you, David. Sophie, would you like to answer his question? What will be your recommendation for him?
Sorry, I think I missed your question. Which question should I answer?
The question is, he said he does not have any previous experience in the MakeX competition. He's currently 11 years old and going to be attending 5th grade. Do you think he needs to learn some coding first, like a Python and 3D printing, before he participates in the competition?
Okay, so first, I think it's a very good start because, MakeX Spark is a low entry competition. Even though you don't have any the program skills, you can learn some from the basic start. And then you can start with the basic coding, we accept Python, but even for the block, the block coding in MBlock, it's also very easy to get started. And then you can learn some easy construction, and then you can make a very simple project to start with. So this competition is not very difficult, even though you can just submit a very easy project to start with. So I think it's okay for you to just start with some very easy ways. For example, you can make the hardwares or just construct with some easy materials. You do not have to like acquire the 3D printer at the first time, but you can like learn step by step. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Okay. Actually, he has another question. He said he has a AMBA Ranger, actually plan to open a place soon. Do you think that he can use a Ranger to compete as well?
Yes, of course. We recommend some of the hardwares, but we do not set limitation. So you can take anything you have and participate. Just enjoy. Yeah, of course.
Okay. So next one, Stanley has a question. Stan is asking, who actually the students here will be competing against?
You mean?
Based on the training that I attended, the students will be competing with all the students around the world.
Yes.
Are, 6 from 6 to 13.
So for our side, this MakeX Spark competition, we have 5 matches in total. So actually we separate the Chinese, 3 matches in Chinese, mainly in the mainland, and also 2 international matches in English. So basically the students here from Michigan will compete with the students from all the world, and the language will be English. Yeah, so it's from the world.
Thank you, Sophie. And next question, Joseph has a question regarding a mentor. So if you have a family member already signed up as a mentor, if you prefer to have your family member to mentor you, that's possible. And if not, you can let us know as well. We can pair you with another mentor. Okay. Next one, Hannah. Do you have to make a speech? Sophie, I believe in the video, students have to present verbally about their project, correct?
Yes, because we have one dimension is about the communication skills. So in this dimension, the judges will make assessment according to your presentation in the video. But another thing about this criteria is we also want to see how you present the whole the problem solving process of the whole project. So that's 2 sub dimensions we will evaluate. So we suggest to you to make an oral expression presentation in the video. Yes.
Okay. And then Stanley has another question. If we don't know the programming, or the instructor is going to teach you? Unfortunately, instructor, you mean the mentors? Our mentors will not teach you all the details about programming. However, MYE did prepare some resources that you can exercise, practice, to learn some fundamental codings to work with Halo code. And also in the package that come with Halo code, there's some cards with small projects that you can practice just to familiar with how to use a code to make Halo code work. And Coach Harrison, feel free to jump in if you have anything to add. Okay. Next one, Vincent, how much to join the membership? I'm not quite sure about your question. So this entire competition to compete, to enter the competition is free. And if you sign up on MYE's website to get our support, all the trainings and the mentors are provided by MYE with no cost. And you do need to purchase a kit from Amazon. I think Amazon right now is the best venue to purchase the Halo Code kit. The retail price is $40. The $40 is not just the Halo Code itself. It comes with a cable and a portable battery pack and some alligator wires, alligator clips. If you guys remember the example that Coach Harrison showed in the presentation, the flower was using some alligator clips to connect it to the touch sensors. So there's no really membership that is required. Next question, when does it start? So we recommend all the students can get started like as soon as possible. So you're not, gonna be just feel like a run out of time because if you take times, ideas doesn't necessarily come the best form, at the first try. We encourage students to keep trying until they achieve the best result. So after you, like I said, after you sign up for MY support, our mentor will provide a recommended timeline to show you what you need to focus on each week in order to finish your project on time. Peter said, is competition going to be regional first, then the regional winner goes to national or world level? So I'll leave that question to Sophie.
Oh, sorry, I was reading another question.
Oh, okay. The question was, is the competition going to be regional first, then go to the national or world level?
Yes. So first you need to compete I think you need to participate in this Michigan, and you have the training, and later you are going to have this MakeX Spark I think for your competition this time is Smart Lights. And then after that, if you get any awards, for example, like the all-rounder awards, you are going to have the chance to apply for the World Robotics Contest. So, but basically for this, you will not have any like regional one. You just compete together with all the participants in the world under the same thing, the Smart Lights. One more about another question. I think I only answered one part. The person who wants to answer do we have to make a speech? I already answered that. But the next is, do we need to read all the posters contents? The answer is it's not necessary, because all you have to do is to make a presentation, introduce your projects and make some introduction about the whole your projects, about how you solve the problem, what's your idea, and how do you make this, and what did you get from this project. It's something like this, not just read your post, okay? And what do we need to talk about when we verbally say something about in our video? That's what I suggest you to do, during your presentation. The mainly criteria the judges want to evaluate is that you show the whole problem-solving process during the whole project building. That's what we want to say, and also other abilities your oral expression, your fluency and your confidence, and something like that. Okay, that's my answer for these two questions.
Okay, I want to go back to Peter's first question for a second regarding a regional and go all the way up to the world. So typically, if it's a offline competition, you do need to compete in the Michigan first, and then you go to New York to compete in the whole North American regional competition, because during the quarantine, unfortunately, we have to move all the competition to online. So regional offline competition will be canceled, and you will just compete directly online with all the students, globally. And if you do win the all-rounders, and then you go to the world finals. Okay. Peter asked, what is the weight for 5 judging criteria? So don't worry about that. And we will share this recording and a lot of useful information, after you sign up for our help on MYE's website. Okay. Eric has a question. Does students need to make a PowerPoint or Google slide?
I don't think you need to do that because you already submit your project with a lot of information, such as your source code, pictures, videos. And if you also make the poster, I think the judges can already get everything they need for these contents. So you don't have to do that.
Okay, hopefully that answered your question. And then Stanley has another question. Is the presentation virtual? So I believe the presentation need to be recorded in the video format and with the size within 200 MB. And there's no really time limitation as long as you can keep your file size within that limit in order to upload to the portal. So, okay. I think we answered all the questions so far. Okay, Angela, I'll turn the control of the meeting back to you.
Yep, thank you. So if you have any more questions that you have after this presentation, feel free to email makex@myefound.org. You can also find this email on our website. That's all we have for today. So make sure that you sign up for MYE's resources on our website. And our next live seminar will be on August 12th at 7 p.m. EST. This seminar will feature 2 university students, one's from U of M and the other one's from Pennsylvania State University. And in the seminar, we will be providing high school students who are interested in medicine with resources on how to pursue the medical track in college and beyond. So if you or anyone you know is interested in attending the seminar, you can sign up on myebeat.com. Thank you all so much for attending today's MakeX Spark Michigan Kickoff event. Remember to sign up through myefound.org. And that's all for today, and I hope you all have an amazing evening.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Sophie.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Good night, I think so. I should.
您好，我叫 Cindy， 我是一名2020年人口普查员。我的工作是探访并协助尚未完成普查的家庭。我会佩戴口罩，以确保每个人的安全。普查数据有助于分配每年数千亿的公共资金，抓住这次机会。你可选择上网、邮寄、致电，或由普查员协助完成问卷。你我未来由此展开，请上2020census.gov